What's up, family, and welcome to another episode of Soulful Conversations. Well, let's jump right into it. We've all heard about how important it is for us as men to take care of our mental health. I'm glad we're having these conversations. They are much needed conversations. In today's world, men are faced with issues such as social and criminal justice issues, health issues, life expectancy worries, mental health issues, career upward mobility, discrimination, and for us black men, just being who we are, just keeping it real. There are things that put stress on our mental health and can lead to depression, anger issues, substance abuse, violence, and even suicide. And it also hurts us as it relates to how we show up in our relationships. And it's important for men to really take care of mental health. That's why I'm doing this today. You know, there are many different ways that we can do that, which will include therapy, taking care of our physical bodies, medication. We can meditate. You know, talking to somebody, and separating ourselves from harmful substances and people. And another help tool is what I want to talk about today is journaling. Now, this practice of journaling. This is a practice that is generally associated with women, although many of the greatest men in the world kept a journal. And unfortunately, there are gender stereotypes associated with journaling. But quite honestly, I think there's a lack of awareness about the benefits of journaling as it relates to men. And then there's the generalization that as men, that our only way of coping with stress and emotion is to have physical activities, that writing our stuff out, or that don't work. That's one of the generalizations that's out there. But just like women, men can benefit from the process of reflecting on their emotions, improving self awareness, and processing things, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and things that are conflictual in their life. Some men may feel that this journaling thing is it's not a masculine activity, but it's a personal choice. And when it comes to journaling, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's a form of self-expression that can be very beneficial for mental health and emotional wellness, regardless of gender. We'll just leave it at that. In fact, actually, we won't leave it there. In fact, research has shown that journaling can be especially helpful for men because we're less likely to seek out help or for our emotional and mental health issues, and it's a tool that we can use to help us maintain healthy relationships and improve our overall wellness. But taking care of yourself, your mental health is pivotal, and using a journal. I'll speak from my personal experience. I've found that writing my experiences it's been very helpful to me. It makes me feel healthy. I have a better understanding of how I operate, and I have a better way of also communicating things with my wife because I've worked through the process of getting clarity on those things through written things in my journal. The mental health pieces. They're important to the relationship because relationships are built on trust, communication, and intimacy, and all those can be challenged if mental health is a problem. Journaling as a self help tool, it helps improve character, your mindset, um, and it really kind of, I would say, it settles and centers you also. And you can begin to find happiness in your relationship when you begin to kind of write out things and approach things from a more constructive way. When you reflect on the things that you write, you have a better understanding to why you responded the way you did, and you're able to better have soulful conversations and relationships with your partner. With journaling, with my journaling, these writing experiences that I've had, as I mentioned, have given me so much clarity. And one thing I love about it is that it keeps me from keeping things in my head and just ruminating over and over and over and over about them. Like, when my wife and I, if we happen to have a conflict, when we have our conversations, and later if I journal about it and I write it out and I look at it, and then, it helps me to identify, where my wrong was. It helps me also to see her perspective. It helps me to know that I needed to compromise here. It's a great place to have a safe, constructive space to process conflict, especially when it arises in a relationship. But as men when we're coping with things, we our typical mo is to shut down, and really shutting down is not a very healthy way of doing it. It becomes a coping mechanism for it. But shutting down, when we do that, we're isolating ourselves from our partner, and it can be a very dangerous space to be in. We end up punishing ourselves by staying silent and holding on to whatever it was, or the pain, or the unprocessed emotions, and we do it in solitude. Plus our spouse is kind of over there as well, and that gap is not a good space to be in. But when you have that chance to really look at what it is you are dealing with, you can take that little moment of reflecting on your journal and get back in the game and have those conversations. My wife and I, like most couples, we've had our struggles with mental health issues. We've dealt with emotional baggage, unprocessed emotions, unhealthy emotional habits, past relationship traumas and triggers, and things that things that we encountered before we met. And one thing that's amazing, though, it's amazing how issues from your childhood can be carried into a relationship and you not even know it. They show up and then show out, and you don't know what's going on. But with my wife and I, these things that I just mentioned, some of those things, they played out and they caused problems in the early years of our marriage, and we had no idea where they were coming from. And I thought she was crazy, she thought I was crazy, but we were struggling to get on the same page until we discovered tools to help us deal with our issues. We were just talking about it the other night, like, wow, how in the world, and my response was, the effectual fervent prayers of the righteous availeth much. Thank God for that from the people who was praying for us. But for us to better ourselves and our marriage, it required, as I mentioned, prayer, a solution, and work, 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 and still requires work. And she found her way, and I found my way, and my way was journaling. And by regularly journaling, um, I really have gotten a better understanding of me, and it has helped me to develop strategies, to better approach strategies as I go through life. A key piece of journaling is that self reflection and introspection, which was hard at first when you got to see yourself in that light. But journaling provides that outlet, the outlet for you to be able to confront, anger, frustration, disappointment, writing that all out in a constructive way, versus keeping it bottled up and then letting it out on your partner. How often does that happen, family? How often does that happen? As journaling, there are different ways, different types of journaling, different forms of it. There are blank journals. There's guided journals, prompt journals that have prompts in them. That have questions. A gratitude journal where you can just write the things you're thankful for. But my choice is the blank journal. I just like to have that empty page and just put it all out there. And I use that as a reflective method for me. And I use a laptop, but the traditional way is writing, but I use a laptop. You can use your phone, you can use an iPad. There is no particular specific way to journal. The thing is for you to find a method which best works for you. Now, I will say that my laptop does have is password protected. And on a personal note, this journaling thing has helped me, as I mentioned, through some very difficult times and some challenges that I've come through. It helps me with my internal landscape, and it also gives me insight and self awareness. That's what that reflective writing. When I look back at it, and I refer to my journal a lot of times as like my mirror. And I look at it and I see what happened in that moment, and I reflect on it. I usually let it sit to the side for a while, and when I pick it up and look back, like the next day or so, I'm prayerful. I take in, I acknowledge what's written there, and then I begin to come up with a plan of how I can better respond to situations where I may not have responded the best. And if it's a situation with my wife and I, then I can develop language and have a conversation about that, where I was wrong or how we could better communicate. This suggestion of journaling is not a one size fit all. It is a helpful tool, but honestly, it's unlikely to be the sole source for solving problems or saving a relationship. If it's not. It may require you to get professional help. It is a tool that can be used, that you can take into your marriage therapy with you to discuss some of the things that you've dealt with. Now, don't use it as as darts to just throw at your significant other, but use it as a way to better communicate and how you can better the relationship. So there you have it, family. Another video, another opportunity for us to show you how to show up healthy in your relationship. And if you're a man, if you're a brother, and you've been thinking about journaling, or this is your first time hearing about it, or even if you've been avoiding it, just overcome your reservations and give it a try. It's not hard. There's no right or wrong. Remember, it can be very therapeutic, and it can definitely help you. And if you're struggling with mental health and you're in a relationship, it's important to reach out for help. There are many resources available. I mentioned therapy. That's one of them. Your employer may have an employee assistance program and support groups. These are all incredible, helpful tools that can help you get you and your relationship back on track. And these resources can help nurture the connection in your relationship. So family, thank you for watching. If this video has been helpful to you in any form or fashion, it would mean a lot to us if you would subscribe. Subscribe and lets us know that, we're building a community and people actually watch and appreciate what we're doing, and we're helping people. Also, share this with someone that you love. Until next time, stay soulful. Peace.